this year.
Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This is the Saline City Planning Commission meeting for Wednesday, February 25th, 2026. Will the recording secretary please call the roll?
Young.
Here.
Carroll.
Here.
Bostic.
Yes.
Morrow.
Here.
Gearba.
Here.
Heft.
Here.
Staff present tonight are Community Development Director Atkin and Recording Secretary Katnick. Is there a motion on the table to approve the agenda as distributed unless there are amendments?
Move to approve as distributed.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Motion passes. Is there a motion on the table to approve the meeting minutes of February 11th, 2026 as submitted unless there are amendments?
Move to approve as submitted.
All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Motion passes. Public comment. Under the Open Meetings Act, any citizen may come forward at this time and make comments. The person is requested but not required to state their name and address for the record. Comments will be limited to 3 minutes per person. Seeing no public comment, we will go with unfinished business, number 26-03, application from Cambridge Real Estate LLC for a preliminary site plan for a mixed-use development at 1080 East Michigan Avenue, Lot 20A, parcel number 18-12-31-480-020, and Lot 13, parcel number 18-12-31-480-013. In our packet, we had a memo dated February 18th, 2026 from Community Development Director Atkin.
Yes, thank you. So the revisions that were suggested in the packet from 2 weeks ago, those were corrected. So I'm going to go over some of the comments that are in this one. And I'd like to apologize for the first recommendation in there. I forgot to put a word for the deferred parking. The recommendation is if they don't have tenants prior to the final lift going on, then to defer those 14 parking spaces. Right now, we have two tenants secured, with the other two buildings to be white box. So until that time comes when, and plus it'll allow us to get a better feel for the amount of parking that's going to be necessary out there. They're proposing 64 total spaces. Without those, it'd be down to 50 with the two drive-throughs and 2 units. So the applicant did read through these, and if you give me a moment here, I'm going to share up on the screen maybe the suggested revisions. So the focus here is going to be up on the commercial. So the suggestion was, I believe it was the second recommendation, was at the southwest corner of these buildings here. This was 24 feet. They would like to keep the two-way traffic on the west line with and have pavement markings in there, identifying drive-through lane. There was a bottleneck back in here for the 24-foot wide, and on up here, I drew a little diagram with this is when it was 24 feet. What would potentially happen if somebody was trying to come around the back of the building and the drive-through lines were backed up and somebody else is trying to go around? There wouldn't be enough room in there for 3 cars to pass through. So they did widen that to 36 feet to allow for that additional cars to pass through. The other recommendation was to turn the dumpster because they were facing each other. And in order for the trash hauler to get in there the way when they're facing each other, they have to make another pass all the way around the building or try to do a multi-point turn and then to access the other dumpster. They did separate the dumpsters out originally as they are today, just for the sake of room and convenience for the employees coming home. They're able to meet the 20-foot setbacks on both sides here and the 100-foot setback line up front and maintain 24 feet for the aisle access in all areas. Instead of removing the bypass lane in its entirety and the green space that was between them, there's going to be a 5-foot wide strip of grass going between there, just to prevent anybody running into the building or lessen the likelihood that somebody might hit the back of the building there. All the parking stalls do meet minimum requirements. Same with the number of HDA spaces. I haven't done a deep dive into the landscaping yet, only because things were being shifted around, so I didn't want to put too much time into counting that up in case shrubs had to be moved around. The sidewalk here, they did make it meander through, putting crosswalks in. There's a recommendation in there that, that they, or requirement for the ADA accessible ramps and to provide detail. All the sidewalks, where they're more open, are pushed back from the road. They added a sidewalk connecting on the west side here down to the, I guess, the western end of the residential. So there'll be 2 points of access for residents over here, and then residents on the west side, and also residents down below here, lot 13. There's a letter that was included in the packet from engineering stating that at this point they do feel that the storm calculations and the size of the storm basins do accommodate the amount of stormwater runoff that will occur. And they have been, said this last time, they have been communicating with engineering and the engineering consultants to go over that. Then once I was speaking with the applicants tonight, once they do get approval for the preliminary site plan, they will start working, doing a deeper dive into the engineering with all the utilities, fire hydrant placement, storm basins, sanitary, and things of the, excuse me, things of the like. I believe in the details, one of the recommendations last time was to install different type of lighting fixtures in the residential area instead of having the commercial and industrial type lighting. They are going to be a single pole with a single bulb on the top, the decorative shielding around it, or glass, frosted glass almost. That will go throughout the residential area. There's some areas in here for some play area in both of the easements. Down here, I'm sorry. They have in the event that the neighboring property does want to pass through, they reserve some space here for a possible drive that might take some reconfiguring at some point, but they're designating some space there for an easement, access easement to the west, and then also to the south here, going out to Bemis Road. That's why this space here is open, and it'll go down south of Bemis Road. They are still communicating with the owner of 1294 Beach Court here, who owns the property just to the east. It's Bank Supplies. this property is vacant. The other one has two buildings on it, but they are separate parcels. So they're trying to work a deal there to get that and hopefully in the future make that into residential as well. Then the last items that were in the review, those are items to be included. A lot of it's just detail paperwork to be included in the final site plan, and then a couple of other things that are separate processes and applications.
Great, thank you. Just a question about the 14 deferred spaces that are on the northeast corner of the parcel. Why would, if they are not needed, depending on the tenant, would the configuration of that right side, the eastern side, change?
No, because they would still have to maintain that 24-foot.
So it just wouldn't be striped?
It just wouldn't be straight.
Okay.
Correct.
Thank you.
Well, configuration is, it would be long.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Yes, Mr. Mayor.
Director Atkins, I see this on page 11 of your memo, so I'm primarily asking the question for the public's benefit, those who may be reading about this meeting or watching it after the fact. I think oftentimes, or too often, we conflate and confuse preliminary site plan with final site plan, and those processes are distinct and different, and there's a higher burden that needs to be met at final site plan approval, or when a petitioner is seeking final site plan approval, excuse me. But it is your recommendation tonight that they meet the qualifications for preliminary site plan and that the subsequent motion to approve be granted?
Correct, yes.
That's all I had.
Any questions?
Chris, just, and as previously, since we've gone through a number of these revisions, thankfully, members of the commission have been looking at it from the last meeting and this meeting, doing a lot of work on this. Was there any consideration of deferring the parking spaces in the front instead of the ones on the side? So that we wouldn't have as much pavement in the front? That's my one disappointment on this development, is that the buildings aren't further up and less asphalt.
That was not considered originally, because it was a way for them to fit those in. The ones that are being recommended for deferral, that was our initial suggestion, only because they were only 5 feet from the property line. And that was before there was some reconfiguration of the storm basins.
Okay. Other than that, I think we've answered most of the questions. I know we talked about the one-way traffic on the western side of the lot, but now that you've reconfigured and added that 36, I guess that works. I mean, from our consideration, it's not really a city manager. If it backs up and plugs up, that's their problem, not ours. So,
That's correct.
thank you.
Can I just ask one question in terms of, sometimes in these, we just generally have something from the fire department or something that's saying everything is copacetic in terms of the ability for fire trucks to get in, turn around, et cetera. Have we talked to them, has the fire department cleared this?
Yes,
Just
the
not
fire
in there?
department did look at it. They made some suggestions about posting some signs about specifically down in the residential area for fire lanes, no parking on the street, and then also the turn radiuses that which they supplied in the commercial area. They gave those to us during the last meeting. But again, since things have been reconfigured, the areas that they made their recommendations have not changed from last site plan to this site plan, but I will have them prior to, or when it comes to the final site plan, they will be reviewing them again. Okay. Especially once the utilities go in, they see the placement of hydrants and, additional, or where the fire routes would be.
Okay.
Additional questions? Yes.
And Chris, you feel there's no need for a traffic study or anything in this term to make sure that there isn't any concerns with inflow and outflow of traffic onto 12?
No, not for in a commercial industrial area. It's not typical for if this were a big, like the one over there in North Maple where you're adding residents. This is, the trips per day is going to be a little more difficult to calculate. But this being right on Michigan Ave, it's not going to make a significant impact by any means.
Okay. And the safety concerns of that being residential driving in and out of there, not an issue at this point from your perspective?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
There's not a concern about residential driving in and out of there at this point and commercial in that same drive?
No, they're completely separated. The access points are completely separated, commercial and residential.
see any problem with queuing on US 12 to access the commercial in the front. So for traffic, yes, any additional right turn lanes that you think would be necessary. The parcel directly to the east has a right turn lane. Just wondered.
The acceleration lane.
It's a decel lane, yes, but it's a.
I don't believe so, and I don't know that they would be able to put in a deacceleration lane that would be long enough, because and correct me if I'm wrong, you're the engineer, I'm not, that deacceleration lane would have to pass that property boundary.
No, the decel lane coming coming eastbound, so
Turn,
to turn right into this development, okay.
I don't anticipate that being a problem.
I think that's just something that MDOT needs to sign off on before, I know that we've asked for concurrence with MDOT whenever they review this, just because it's off of their road, but I still think that's something that needs to be looked at.
We can make that as a recommendation for that MDOT give their opinion on putting a lane in.
Absolutely, thank you.
There's nothing further, Madam Chair. I'd move to acknowledge receipt of the memo dated February the 18th.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes. Applicant developer comments will be limited to 10 minutes. If you'd like to come up and speak, please make sure that the microphone is on and the green light is illuminated.
Hello, Michael Hamami, Cambridge Real Estate. First off, I want to thank the commission for the 2-week turnaround time and accommodating us so quickly, and understanding that timing is critical for us to be able to deliver this. So thank you for that. We heard the comments that were said here last time we were here, and took a lot of the comments that were made by Chris. And Chris and our architect Denny has worked hard in trying to incorporate all those, and really, Denny did a great job fitting a lot into this site and giving us a space and negotiating some of those radiuses, expansions out to 36 feet and fitting the parking that we need here. I know that there were some comments about the banked parking. The 2 buildings that we have are designed to accommodate 4 tenants. We already have 2 tenants committed under a lease, and we received another LOI last week, so it looks like we're probably going to have a 3rd coming in very soon, and hopefully before we're done with this, we'll have all 4 full. So banked parking probably won't be a concern at that point. We will need all the parking. That's pretty much it. We're excited to get started on this.
Thank you very much. Questions for the applicant developer? I will say that you have made a lot of changes from 2 weeks ago, and I'm glad that you heard us and did make the changes in it, because at the last meeting with having plans that weren't reviewed, that just didn't sit right. So I do appreciate you turning it around in the 2 weeks. So thank you very much.
Madam Chair, if there's nothing further for the petitioner, I also thank him for his time. I would move to open the public hearing, affording the public an opportunity to speak to this issue at 7:18.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes. Seeing nobody in the audience, I will move to close the public hearing at 7:19.
So move.
So Cheryl, mover. I'll second that. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes. Comments, questions from planning commission members, either to the applicant developer or to community development director?
I guess I apologize, Madam Chair, I should ask this of the petitioner earlier. Again, appreciate your time and the flexibility and patience during this process. Assuming you get preliminary site plan approval this evening, how quickly would you like to move things forward so that we could be considering a final site plan?
Immediately. If we are successful and obtain preliminary approval here tonight, we will start our engineers on working on the engineering plans and get back in front of you as quickly as possible.
Yes.
Chris, any other issues? I know you've been working a lot on this document, so I know you have other priorities for working at this time. So however you fit this into your calendar, we will understand and how this comes forward. So whatever you need to do. But is there anything else at this point in time that you feel that we need to consider it before we go into final?
At this time, no. No, I'll manage to get it done.
Thanks.
Additional questions or comments? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Is there a motion on the table to approve, not approve, or approve with conditions the preliminary site plan for a mixed-use development at 1080 East Michigan Avenue, Lot 20A, and Lot 13?
I move to approve with the conditions that are listed in preliminary site plan, conditions 1 through 3, items to include on with site plan 1 through 5, modifying recommendation 1 to include also a recommendation from MDOT that there is not a need for a deceleration lane on the right turn. And then items 1 to 2 with regards to separate applications and requirements, and then adding one more, just that the fire department will review and approve again during the final site plan regarding turn radius and other fire-related.
Just to clarify, under the preliminary site plan, items 2 and 3 have been corrected.
Okay.
That I showed tonight, and item 1, it has to include
The word not.
tenants are not secured for the remaining 2 units.
Thank you. All right. Okay, so I make that motion.
You have that? Good to go? All right, any additional discussion? All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Motion passes. Congratulations. We'll look forward to seeing you in final site plan. Is there any discussion tonight? If there's no discussion,
Just out of clarification, will we have a meeting in March?
No.
Yeah, 2 weeks, okay.
2 weeks, no, there's nothing that will be ready. We don't have any applications. There's some other things I'm working on, but they won't be ready.
Yeah, and do you suspect a second meeting in March or no?
No.
No, okay. So likely nothing again until April.
That's basically correct.
All right.
Sure, one other question.
yes.
And I know I should brought this up sooner. The abandoned car wash, anything on that one in terms of what we need to move forward on getting that taken care of?
Nothing yet, and I have been meaning to talk to Craig about getting them, condemning it. He might be in tomorrow, and I'll make that priority, to have it condemned, and then the project for the building board review. Then, they can appeal it or choose to walk away.
At this point in time, I think that's probably the best route because we just delayed it so much. And having driven by it just recently again, it's starting to become springtime and it's going to be an issue again.
Yeah,
So
no, I apologize. It just keeps falling in the back of my head.
yeah, that's why I kind of want to make sure that you get time to do those things too besides these other
Yeah, no,
assessments. So we may want to rush other things, but that's one of the issues that's been on our board for 20 years now. So appreciate it.
Madam Chair, if there's nothing further, I'd move to adjourn this planning commission meeting at 7:23.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Motion passes. Thank you.
We would like